So Gallantmon actually didn't get a whole lot this set. So let's take a look at the cards that he did get though. So it's just these here. You'll notice that the Gallantmon's missing. I'll go over Gallantmon with the extras because I think he's useful in not just this one, but like all of the Tamers decks, it seems like. So I put him in kind of like the general use space. So first up is Gallantmon. Start a main phase. If you have a Takuto or a Gallantmon, gain a memory. Yeah, the Takuto I think I think is really good. This sets up some really cool situations where some of the Takutos themselves also give you +1 memory. So if you have 2 out, like one that gives you, so it sets you to 3, and then you've got a Takuto and this Gallantmon that both give you +1 memory at the start of your main phase, then you're starting your turn with 5, which is pretty incredible. So this effect, I think, well, not amazing on its own, just I think the ability combined with some of the other cards out there seems really strong. And then all turns, like some of the previous stuff, he got the, well, you have 0 less memory, add 2k to his deletion maximums. It seems like they're really trying to push that idea of like, you want to be at 0 with Gallantmon or less. And just give me the Gallantmon that has the Finnerlugamon effect where my turn doesn't end until 3 or on your opponent's side. That'd be sick. Next up is Growlmon. And it feels like they're giving a lot of cards this effect right now, where if you've already got out 1 Tamer, you still can play another one for free. So the on evolve is like if you have 1 Tamer, 1 or fewer, so 1 or less, you can play a Takuto from your hand without paying the cost. So this essentially gives you the second Tamer for free. That means like if you see, you can run 4 of these guys, and if you see 1 early and then you see 1 late, they're still both really useful. And then yeah, the inheritance effect is also, this one is interestingly enough, was the last one also all turns? Oh, they are. They're both all turns. These effects are all turns, so it's plus 2,000 even on your opponent's turn, which means the aces are a bit more scary. And they got their 3rd, I think this is, at least in Asia, they got their 3rd ace card in War Growlmon Ace, which really. I think people all just kind of like shat on Metal Greymon Ace when this card came out, because like it's literally what you do but better in every way. It's so sad. On play and on evolve, delete an opponent's Digimon, any amount of Digimon whose DP adds up to 3,000, and then for each of your opponent's Digimon you can add plus 2k. So with 1 Digimon it's 5, and then if more it's 7, and this also gets increased by the 2 effects that we talked about in inheritance for these guys. So they're really pushing that this ace is kind of thematic to only the line, and then it actually is pretty dang good. On top of that, so then for each Digimon you deleted, you can gain a memory. So not only do you get to delete a bunch of stuff, you can also steal a turn, which is really strong. It feels like in the past they only locked that to, was it only purple? What was it? It was the starter deck Metal Garurumon, and was there another ace that gave you memory on your opponent's turn? There was another one. What was it? But it wasn't purple. It wasn't purple. I'm tripping. I know I'm not the only one. No, Metal Garurumon Ace we have. There's another one. Paladin mode Ace? Yeah, sorry, outside of Paladin mode. There was one before him as well. What was it? It wasn't purple though. Come on, guys. I expect more of you. All of you guys who know all these things, ask me why Dire Rabbitmon. Thank you, Moonanite, my man. It is Dire Rabbitmon. Yeah. Yeah, Dire Rabbitmon Ace had it where you just gain 2 memory. Yeah. Come on, guys. You gotta be fast on the take there. What the heck? I thought you guys were the best and the brightest that Digimon had to offer. Anyway, going back to on track, or staying on track here. Overflow 3, which is not bad. Pretty good for a 5. He also has inheritance effects. They're starting to give aces inheritances, and I'm so terrified. This one, though, seems pretty okay. Just increase the threshold by 3,000 at all turns. You don't have to worry about the memory at being past 0. So that's kind of nice. It's like this plus Megidramon Ace. So he's plus 5,000 and then plus 3,000. So you're starting with a minimum of 8,000, which is insane. Pretty bonkers. As soon as you get your level 6, your Gallantmon is like fricasseeing stuff. I guess in this case, you'd be your level 7. Speaking of Gallantmon, though, so Gallantmon, another rare Gallantmon. I feel like the level 6s have always been a little bit lackluster. There's some good Gallantmons, but I feel like they're all just a little bit shy of like where they need to be. Also, this guy is about to curb stomp this Gallantmon. This Gallantmon is going to get the shit kicked out of him. What we don't see is this is actually ground. He's actually stepping on the Millenniumon. He's going to like Ryu donkey kick the crap out of the Gallantmon here. Let's see. When evolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 DP or less. If this effect didn't delete, he gains piercing plus 3k until the end of the turn. Not bad. I think I'd still prefer, I might actually prefer the BT19 Gallantmon instead of this. It's hard to say. Piercing is actually kind of nice. Red has like really great ways to actually punch into your opponent's Digimon using things like Raid or Attack on Suspended Digimon, but typically don't get piercing, so this is a nice change of pace. If only there was like an option plugin or something that we could use to get piercing instead. This isn't also on attack, where the BT17 Gallantmon's effect is on evolve and on attack. So maximum he's getting is 15k, which might be a little low. You typically want to be at least around like 17, and then when your opponent's Digimon flee to gain 2 memory. Oh, that's kind of nice. Yeah, wow. So he kind of refunds part of the evolve cost. Man, that's... Like, you really have to think about all the Gallantmon cards now. You really have to consider, like, what do you want in effects? Like, let's take a look. Like, look at that. There's so many Gallantmons now. Not him, though. Not him. Not him. Not him. Like, you've got one... The X antibody maybe we'll put in a different class, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. These other two, the starter deck ones, are typically less used, but yeah, you've got to make some really tough choices at that upper end, don't you? Oh, that's also a thought, too. Like, you could just use this guy in Royal Knights, like... Feels like they've thrown a ton of support at 7th grade Demon Lords, but Royal Knights just hasn't had it recently. So it feels like this set starts to give them a little bit of a bump. We actually got quite a few in this set, right? There's Gallantmon, there's Lord Knightmon, there's Dynasmon. There's actually quite a few in here, wow. And they also got the X antibody forms as well. Alright, so Gallantmon, again, discussion to be had between this and the BT17 Gallantmon and just what your level 6s look like, because you have so many choices at this point. Like, you always want to include like one copy of the 13. The 12 isn't bad either, because raid and the ability to just discard security is nice. Yeah, there's a lot. Now let's move on to good old Takuto here in his beach outfit. Memory 3 setter, good to see. It's been a while since we've got one of those. And then when any of your Digimon digivolve into a Digimon with Growlmon or Gallantmon in its name, by suspending that tamer, that Digimon gains raid for the turn. Then that Digimon attacks the player. Jesus. Keep in mind, you can't attack if you don't have rush, so there's that. But man, the layering of like the correct tamers and effects is so difficult now. So now you've got a Takuto who gives raid, you've got one who gives blitz. Yeah, you've got some choices to make. Like, this blitz one is really good. That way you can like make attacks after your turn's over. This one here is just nice for the warp. Tough, tough, tough. And like it's 3, so it's a little bit cheaper than normal as well. This fella, probably we get rid of him now, right? Yeah, this is a 3 memory setter Takuto as well from BT12, but he just lets you warp and you have to pay its cost, which kind of sucks. I'm trying to pay costs when my turn's over, bro. I'm already in debt. So maybe this guy is the new level 4 to go with, eh? The question then becomes, do we use the raid BT12 Gallantmon now? Because this guy also gives us raid? Maybe not, it's tough to say. It's nice that they give Gallantmon players hope. Dang. We got Magnamon players out here just like talking shit to the other Royal Knights players. That's what's up. Let's see. So we got through the Digimon and the Tamers. Let's take a look at this wild-ass option card that gave us Trinity Burst. So it's like the Jamaican flag here, or you know what it really looks like? Like the colors of like really old like popsicles, like the ones that have like the multicolors, like the lime, lemon, and cherry or whatever. That's what it reminds me of, especially the colors here. But a Trinity Burst, well, you have a level 5 War Growlmon, Taomon, or Rapidmon, you can ignore this card's requirement. So as long as you have one of the 3, you're good. Also, 8 cost is kind of junky. Play 1 War Growlmon token, 1 Taomon token, and 1 Rapidmon token. All of them are their respective colors, and then 6,000 DP. Interestingly enough, they don't have a level. This effect can't play tokens of the same name, so you're actually only going to get 2. If you, for whatever reason, don't meet the color, or say if you do meet the color requirements without playing one of those cards, you actually can play this out and get 3 tokens, but typically it's only going to be 2. The 2 that you don't have in the field already, and then one of your level 5 Digimon gains Alliance twice for the turn and attacks. So getting the Alliance twice means you can suspend both Digimon while the other one attacks, which is kind of cool. People have said there's some pretty nutty setups with this. I wonder if you can... The problem is, like, you need, like, one more attack to close out game. My thinking was maybe you can use Trinity Burst to wipe out your opponent's security, in Gallantmon, anyway. To wipe out all their security, and then maybe you have a Guillemon with a Tamer on the board, like this guy right here, the Takuto, and that Guillemon can then, at the end of turn, you can evolve it, but then you would also need... You'd also need this guy here, the Takuto that gives Blitz. So there's a lot of setup here. So you can Trinity Burst, and if you have the level of the cost 3 and then the other cost 3 Takuto out, You can evolve your Gallantmon into a Dukemon and then swing for game, maybe. Pretty wild. I'm not sure what the options are for things like Rapidmon or Talmon, but my red brain was like, all right, Gallantmon actually has some ideas here. Shine Greymon deck with the Rhyme Tamer. Oh, that's actually one way to get most of the colors, actually. Holy crap, that's funny. Could you imagine if your opponent is playing Shine Greymon and they just hit you with Trinity Burst? I'd flip the table. Oh, that's funny. Security effect, you can play a level 5, one level 5 Wargroundmon, Talmon, Rapidmon from your hand without paying the cost. That's kind of cool. Okay. I wonder if they're trying to set up like a, I don't know, Mega Zoo style deck with this? I don't know. What do you think? But yeah, that's pretty much Gallantmon. I think the cards they got were pretty interesting. There's a lot. The Ace is definitely very nice. If nothing else, the new level 6 and the Taku Tamer definitely make you think. Like, you have to really consider what your choices are for your level 6 and your Tamers at this point. That plus, hoping the Gallantmon for this set does a lot of work, because I think the last Gallantmon we got, there's only ever been one other, right? Was a little underwhelming, don't you think? So hopefully this one makes up for that. We'll see, we'll see.